Welcome to the Amazing Clarks podcast on the Black Love Podcast Network. My name is Anthony Clark.
And I'm Melanie Clark.
And we are
the Amazing Clarks.
We are both award-winning certified life and love coaches and a husband and wife duo that have been coaching together for 22 years and that have been passionately in love for 30. They call us the Amazing Clarks because we empower people to live amazing lives.
Yes, we do. And you all are joining our love revolution. The love revolution is creating more love in the universe by learning to love yourself and others more. So we are sharing concepts and ideas about the energy of love, and you are now part of our love revolution.
That's right. And on today's show, we have a great topic. We're going to talk about catharsis.
Yes.
Catharsis. What is a catharsis and why is that relevant on this podcast today?
Yes.
So we're going to jump to that. But before we jump to that main topic, let's catch up with the Clarks.
Yes. How was your week, baby?
My week has been pretty damn good. No complaints. One of the main things I'm excited about is that I've been working out and I've been sticking to it.
Yes, you
and
have.
And I've been feeling good. And I've been getting rid of that quarantine COVID weight. That's probably like the most little body fat I've ever had in myself. And
I'm going to say, as long as I've known you, it is the most you've ever had.
And it was actually pretty entertaining. It was like, look at this. Look at what I got. Hey,
look at what I can do.
Look what I can do. But I love my body and I have a great relationship with my cells. And they respond to me incredibly well. I took a before.
Yeah.
And I didn't do my after photo, and I looked at it today, and it was like, what the fuck?
What was I thinking?
What had happened? Literally from like within 2 weeks till today, my body is just literally transformed, just snapped back so incredibly fast that I'm blessed.
You are very blessed. I swear your body is like nanotechnology. Like you just do snap right back to where you were. It's actually really annoying because my body does not do that. But I also have to say, you put in work. You're not just like a regular, like, oh, I'm just going to work out and train. You put in your work. You go hard. So I'm not surprised you're getting such fast results.
Training, I think, is part of it, but I also think it's mindset.
I agree.
And you notice the way I talk about it, other people will talk about, oh my God, I gained weight on the car. Oh, I feel so bad. And to me, it's like, look, this is cute. Look at that. So I don't have negative energy about it. I have no doubt that if I had negative energy about it, it would be harder to remove excess weight.
Right.
And I wouldn't be able to get into shape as quickly. So being in alignment with it.
Right.
And that's the key with so many things in life, your alignment. If you feel good and you're in a place of gratitude and appreciation, you have the ability to change anything.
Very true.
Once you start beating up on yourself, it's a wrap.
Very true. I want to share with our listeners what a catharsis is because I have seen this idea and this understanding really change people's lives, really help them cope, really help them advance quickly. Because what I've found with people is, and we say this a lot on the podcast, people don't understand themselves. They don't understand their brain. They don't understand their energy. They don't understand how they operate as a human being. And when you don't understand how you operate as a human being, it feels like life is happening to you instead of for you. So I just love bringing in ideas that help people to understand how they operate and why things are happening to them in their lives.
So what you're saying is you're a coach.
Yeah.
Right. Get down with your bad self.
Yes, I am. I'm going to talk about when I first discovered what a catharsis was. So my son was graduating high school. He was 18. He's now 30. And I was at the graduation and you didn't go. And you went through a really serious energetic shift.
Ooh, yeah.
You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
While you were going through this catharsis, I was out of town. You were calling me on the phone and I had no freaking clue what was going on. I was afraid. I was worried about you. I felt like maybe I should leave the graduation and go back to and take care of you because you were really, really struggling. So in my normal fashion, like I always do when something happens, I research it, I read about it, and I can't even remember the book, but I found a book that described what a catharsis was, and it broke it down for me and helped me realize what was happening to you. And then we started discussing it, and we realized that this is something that happens in our lives all of the time. Maybe not the huge degree that it happened to you, but it happens to people all of the time. It's happening to all of us all of the time.
So a catharsis is when a system takes on so much pressure that the system breaks down, but it breaks down to repair itself back stronger.
Yes.
So physical systems aren't really that good with catharsis because once they break down, they break. But when it comes to like living entities, when we go through a catharsis, we'll take on a lot of pressure in life, and then we'll have a breakdown. If you're fortunate, you'll bounce back stronger and better. So that catharsis was actually good for you. That breakdown was the key to a breakthrough. Before you can get a breakthrough, you have to break down.
And the dictionary is the process of releasing and thereby providing relief from strong or repressed emotions. So in human beings, it's energetic. Mm-hmm. It's our emotions. It's our perspective. It's the lens that we see life through. And that's always shifting and changing. And sometimes it breaks down and you feel differently about life. You see life differently. And it doesn't actually feel like anything really happened. Like, I don't know why I just changed. And sometimes you'll feel a lot of emotion. You'll feel like I'm just really, really sad. And I don't know why I'm really, really sad or angry or whatever the emotion is. And then it just goes away and you're different. Maybe you feel stronger. Maybe you feel more love in your heart. Maybe you feel different emotions, but you just went through a catharsis. And I've found with myself and with clients, catharsis is not a one and done. It maybe takes 3 days. Sometimes it's a week, but it will continually keep happening because that's what's creating your growth, the breakdown of the energy.
Right. So the particular catharsis you're talking about that I went through.
Yes.
I'm always doing spiritual work and I'm always going to like next level. And when it comes to spirituality, the whole esoteric world and high levels of consciousness, I want it all. I want to crack the code on it all.
Yes,
so I go really, really hard. In this particular situation, I intuitively started doing this exercise where I would focus and I'd be able to see orbs in the atmosphere. The more I would do it and focus on it, the more I would see them. And other people would look and they couldn't see them. But the more I did it over and over again, the better I could see them. So then my goal was to go, I want to see what's behind this veil of illusion that we see as the universe. I know that that's just an illusion. I want to see past that. So at the time, I started practicing channeling as well. I started channeling my higher self. When you left town, I woke up in the morning, and when I opened up my eyes, it was like I was in a different dimension.
Yeah, you were.
Everything around me was just energy. It freaked me out. And I jumped out of bed, and the first thing I did is I ran to get water and put it on my face. And the water would look just like energy, just like this moving patterns and frequencies. And I put the water on my face, and it first of all didn't feel like water in my hands, and I put it on my face, and I didn't feel anything. Then I ran and grabbed the orange with the peel on it and everything, because I just was like, I was trying to come back to reality. I bit the orange with the peel on it, and nothing.
You couldn't taste it?
Couldn't taste it. Now at this point, my heart rate is up. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? I ran to the door, and I opened up the door outside, and everything outside, the trees and everything was in that same form. It's almost like I felt alone in the universe, like I was being absorbed or something. I was losing myself.
Right.
And I had never experienced anything like that in my life. That's when I called you.
Yes.
I didn't call you right away. I literally laid on the ground. I was like, okay, let me just breathe. I don't want to freak her out. I know she's at this event. I don't want her to come home, but I have to talk to someone. I have to connect. I have to ground. So then I called you, and I was trying to calmly tell you what happened, what was going on. And you offered to come home, and I said, don't worry, I'll get through it. I went to the beach, and it was like, let me get out around people. Once again, everything, the call, everything was just like frequencies. And I got to the beach, and I thought to myself, okay, contact my higher self. Ask my higher self what's going on. So I contacted my higher self. This might sound weird to a lot of you guys, but
they know we're weird.
Right, but my higher self, his name is Auric. And Auric is a future version of me in another dimension, like years from now. He's like an advisor for me. When I contacted him, he was laughing. And I was like, what are you laughing at? And he said, you wanted this. You were asking for this. And so you got it now. And now you're freaking out. You bit off more than you could chew. That helped me. That was like, okay, that makes sense. And I went and got our daughter's dogs. And I brought them home with me.
Chica and Bella.
Chica and Bella. I'm the type where no dog sleeps in my bed. I love dogs. I love animals, but you're not sleeping in my bed. That night, boy, did they sleep in my bed. I was hugging them. I was holding on to them because they helped to ground me. Mm-hmm. So eventually what happened was I adjusted to it. Mm-hmm. It didn't go away. I just adjusted to it. And then you came home and we started having conversations about it. So when all was said and done, even to this day, it never completely went away. Mm-hmm. I still see it.
Yeah.
I just learned to live with it.
Right.
And so that was my catharsis. I know I'm actually better off because of it, because literally I see more in life.
Right.
I've expanded my consciousness.
Right.
I've tapped into new different dimensions, and which has given me the ability to manifest things at an amazing rate. It's given me the ability to have vision and see things that other people can't see. I could predict what's coming. So many great gifts. But I had to go through that breakdown in order to get there.
Yes. That's a pretty extreme example of catharsis. That's a huge...
I don't wish that on anybody.
No, that was a huge energetic catharsis. But the catharsis that people in general go through on a continual basis are just a breakdown of reality. That was an extreme breakdown of reality, right? So type of catharsis that people go through in love and dating is they can be with someone and love them and enjoy them. And one day it just goes away. They just feel like, I don't want to be here anymore, or something changed. I don't know what changed. The person didn't do anything, but I just want something different in life. Mm-hmm. And so that energy of their reality just breaks down for some reason. And I believe catharsis are happening because that's how our soul is advancing us towards our purpose in life. We got to keep it moving. Human beings tend to love security. We want to hunker down. We want to have the same thing. We don't like change. And we are created so perfectly and so beautifully that our system breaks down when it's time to go, when it's time to have a new experience. It could happen in a career. It can happen in relationships. Yeah. It can happen about yourself. Like you just see yourself differently. You care about things that you didn't care about before, or you don't care about things that you used to care about. And that is the catharsis that people go through. So what I've noticed is our clients now be like, oh man, I don't know what's wrong with me. I must be going through a catharsis because I just don't feel like myself. And then sure enough, maybe in a week, they're like, I feel so much better. Yeah. And I realized I want XYZ, or I realized that I no longer, want to live where I live, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, you're right. Something really interesting about that particular catharsis that I went through. Mm-hmm. After that, I had to wear glasses.
Yeah,
my vision was perfect before that. Yeah. And after that, the glasses kicked in. Mm-hmm. And so in a way...
And you got anxiety.
Yeah.
Started having anxiety.
Yeah. Even though my external vision took a hit, my internal vision...
Got better
and stronger.
Yeah. Probably the hugest catharsis I've ever seen. But, Anthony, you're big energy. And when it comes to spirituality and just energy in general, you always go hard in the paint. You always go really, really big. So I'm not surprised that you had that type of experience. Mm-hmm. And, for me, I've had catharsis around my inner child trauma where, I've had a couple of days where I just couldn't stop crying. Didn't know why I was crying. And then I just was like, I'm going through a catharsis. There's something on the other side of this. And this is what I recommend when you are going through a catharsis. It literally is an opportunity to love yourself. So whenever I'm going through a catharsis, and a lot of times I think people misinterpret catharting for depression. They think, oh, I'm depressed, but they're actually going through an energetic change. So the key is to be very loving, very kind, and very gentle with yourself, and let yourself, if you can, rest and drink water and be introspective.
And to submit.
Yes. Yeah. Go with it.
That's the key, because it turns into that feeling of depression when you try to fight it.
Yeah.
And you create resistance, which pushes back against you. You have to accept what is.
Yeah.
Whenever you don't accept what is, that's going to create that resistance that you don't want.
Yep.
So even once again, when I looked at what I was going through, I was freaking out because I was fighting it.
Yeah.
And the more I fought it, the worse it got. And then when my higher self said, it's okay, you wanted this is what you were asking for, basically, it was like, okay, stop fighting it.
Right.
I did ask for this, so let me just let go and let it take me. And that's when everything started not only to get better, it actually got exciting.
Yes.
In relationships, and we see this all the time, they're fighting, they're getting upset with each other, they're angry. What do? They fight back even harder. And things just keep getting worse. If they were able to just let go and let that catharsis happen, whether that catharsis would come in the form of, let's break down into tears. Instead of fighting each other, let's just surrender. Let's just love each other, support each other. Then they would get new breakthroughs, new ideas, new perspectives that'll make them actually better instead of trying to fight it. Let go, submit.
And you guys, we're always saying that this is life work, and that's why we're life coaches. You're going to be working on yourself for life, and you're always going to be finding aspects of yourself and different things that you want and need that you didn't know, because you are here for a purpose. Your soul has a purpose, and you have to be led and guided and moved through life, because if you're not, you will hunker down. Everybody just wants to hunker down, stay in the same place, be able to predict everything. I don't know how many times I hear, I don't like change. I don't want things to change. I like things to stay the same. And we think we want that, but it's prison. And when things don't change, we don't grow, our soul doesn't advance. So I actually think catharsis is a way that the body, the mind, and the spirit create advancement. And when you start noticing, like, I'm extremely emotional, I'm seeing the world differently, I have a totally different perspective today than I did yesterday, and nothing happened, you are going through a catharsis. And now that you know that, when it's happening, you'll know you're going to get on the other side of it. And there's something really yummy on the other side. When I go through a catharsis, I actually really love it. To be honest with you, I think it's been about a week. I started an online spiritual course with a great teacher that I'm really, really enjoying, and lots of different information. And we've been talking about the astral plane and the causal plane and different aspects of yourself that you can't see. And just all the new information I know is sending me into a catharsis. I have way less energy than I've had. I feel really tired. And so I'm going with it. I'm just being really gentle and loving with myself. But I already know, I could feel it. I'm going to come out the other side of all of this new energy, a different Melanie. Yeah. A better Melanie. I can feel her coming because I know what catharsis is, and I've been through it so much that I recognize it now.
A catharsis, in a nutshell, it goes back to our concept. To go there, you have to grow there.
Yeah.
So you're on one level in life, in your relationship, in finances, no matter what the topic is.
Spirituality.
Right. You're on one level, and you're always striving to get to higher levels. Yep. Higher levels of love and commitment, higher levels of financial wealth, higher levels of physical health. So how are you going to get to those higher levels? To go there, you have to grow there. And so that means you can't be the same person you are, the same energy that you are, and then create a different life. So in order to get that different life, to grow there, your old one has to break down.
Yes.
You have to get rid of it. It's like, and we see, this is funny when we get clients that go through this. They'll be asking for something in life. I want a better job. I want a better job. So we'll coach them on that and get them energetically ready for a better job. Or they want a better relationship. No matter what it is that they want, we're coaching with them. We're working on their energy. And
we're tapping into the frequency of what they want.
Right. And then things in their life will start to change. So they'll be like, oh my God, I have a problem. What's going on? I lost my job and I'm freaking out. And it's like, wait a minute. What have you been asking for? I want to start my own business. Right. And you didn't have the faith to jump and start your own business, right?
Right.
Right. So you got fired. So the universe is helping you out. It's like a movie set. You didn't like your old movie set. So now the universe is ripping that old set down. And when it starts to get ripped down, you're freaking out. Go, no, wait, it's ripping down. It's like, no, let it rip down. Because when that old set is ripped down, then a new one will be underneath that. So you have movement. Go with it.
Yes.
And it happens all the time when they freak out. And it's like, no, this is what you wanted. Or even going back to my thing. Mm-hmm. I wanted high levels of consciousness.
Right.
And the universe said, all right, you see this old level? I'm going to rip this shit down. Yep. And that freaked me out because it happened so quickly. But that's what I wanted. The new set was so much better.
Yes. It's very, very true. And catharsis is going to happen when energy really starts shifting. And you just did a great job of really refocusing your energy in a powerful way. That's why you had such a big catharsis. But you know where I see this at a lot, and I find this so fascinating and I love it so much, is like when I go into a work environment and I go work with a team and I start bringing in love energy, positive energy, almost every office, one person will end up leaving. They will quit that job and nothing really changed except for maybe almost everybody except for that person is focusing on positive energy and love. And that person that leaves is like, I don't like it here anymore. I don't want this. So I've had to start doing a little disclaimer when I go into office, like your staff may play some musical chairs. We may have some movement because when we bring in anything new, there has to be a breakdown so that that new energy can show up and be what you want. So it's the same thing in every aspect of our lives. When we are asking where we're at, what we have, like you just said, Anthony, has to break down so something new can come. We have a lot of people come to us and the tears. We have people come all the time like, I can't stop crying. I don't know what's wrong with me. And we know off the bat what it is. It is generally a spiritual awakening. And they're wanting more connection. They're wanting more love. And their spirit is trying to show up for them. And they don't know what it is. Yeah. So the tears, it just brings in all of this emotion. And then once we start explaining how their body works, their brain works, how spirit works, then they integrate it. They integrate all this new information and the tears go away. And the fear goes away. Mm-hmm. And so that literally is them going through a catharsis and the universe brings them to us to help them to get on the other side of that catharsis.
I remember how when me and you were really, really on our growth spurt of spirituality and our coaching career, and we were taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
And we noticed that whenever we do a lot of energetic work and learn a lot of new concepts and we really start to expand, that we would get sick and we get a cold or something that would just knock us on our ass.
Yeah.
We'd lay on the couch together, go to sleep and go through it, rest. And then all of a sudden we're better.
Yep.
As we get better and recover, our life changed.
Right.
And it would happen so much. And then we go back and do it again and get sick again. And then next level. And then it got to the point where we understood it.
Yes.
Then whenever it would happen, we get sick. We're like, oh, shit. Here we go. Go get the pillow,
growing.
baby. Go get the soup.
Yep.
Okay, I'll go get this. You get that. Let's turn the TV on. Let's lay down and just enjoy it.
But we're expanding our capacity to take in more energy in those times. That's what we were doing. We were asking for more energy, more connection, more. And so our bodies can only take so much energy. So we would start having breakdowns and shutdowns in our body, which were physical catharsis.
It's like we were recalibrating.
Yes.
To like another level.
Yeah.
So that we can accommodate that new level of energy.
Right.
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah. We were watching something the other day, and I think Dr. Joe Dispenza, who was like, loved having a fever. And you were like, I loved having a fever when I was a kid, because you take yourself into a different state when you have a fever and you connect with different energy. Yeah. And you can have some really spiritual experiences when you're having a fever. So
I agree.
Even a fever is a catharsis, right?
Right.
It's a change in the body temperature and it's changing the body chemistry. So that would be catharsis.
And then our daughter, as we were teaching her, that would happen to her. And then she started getting sick with us. Then it was all three of us on the couch. And it was good times. Good times.
One
Catharsis can be fun, people.
Yes, they can. But they can also be scary. So you need to know what they are. You want to know one of the biggest catharsis that I had? This just dropped in right now. I actually forgot about it, but it was huge. So in 2014, I remember the year because it was my daughter's birthday, and I remember, and we had gone out to dinner, and we came home from dinner, and my younger daughter was saying that she has a headache. So I started doing some Reiki on her, and she had been complaining for a little bit. So I kind of was thinking like, ooh, I hope she doesn't have anything serious going on. So as I started doing the Reiki and moving the energy from her head, she had a lot of fear. And I literally took on the fear energy from her while I was doing the Reiki. And I could feel it so powerfully in my body that I jumped up and I tried to run to my bedroom because I wanted to get away from everyone because I was like, something's happening and I don't want to be weird in front of everybody. So I got up and I tried to run and I fainted. I just hit the floor.
Yeah,
and
that was pretty scary.
Yeah. And I woke up with Anthony on top of me saying, babe, are you okay? Are you okay? And I came back, but then I could literally feel myself being pulled away again. And then I was out again. It literally felt like someone, I don't know how to describe it any other way than this, like somebody pulled the plug. Like I was plugged into an energy source and then someone pulled the energy plug and I just fell with no energy. And so we went through the whole thing where, I had to go to the hospital and they said that it may have been dehydration or whatever, but it was an energetic surge. It was definitely a catharsis and it changed me. And when I came back on the other side of that, I struggled with anxiety and it literally catapulted me into a whole new source of information in my life. Like it made me start researching anxiety, learning about anxiety, finding ways to manage anxiety. And at this time, I didn't realize it, but right after that happened, we started attracting a whole bunch of clients that had anxiety. So my catharsis moved me into the path of discovering how to manage anxiety for myself so that when all those people came, we were ready for them and I was able to help them with their anxiety. So that was one of the biggest catharsis that I ever went through. And then it also made me really make peace with not being in control. Because remember, I felt like I got unplugged. That was the message that came through, that stop trying to control everything. Me running was me trying to be in control. And so the message that I got from that catharsis was one of the reasons you're struggling in your life at this time is you're trying to control everything. Let go. And ever since that day, whenever I feel uncomfortable, I'm like, ooh, you are holding on too tight, girl. You remember, you don't want the universe to give you a spanking again and smack you, knock you to the ground. You better let go. You better let go and let love.
I think though, for me, another one of my biggest catharsis, and if you guys want to check it out on our previous episodes, and I talked about my prison experience when I worked in a prison.
Oh, that was a big catharsis.
Yeah, that was actually like just the epitome of catharsis.
Yeah.
On that episode, when you listen to it, I described the catharsis as like a pantry. And everything in that pantry you've had in there for years. Everything's been in the same place. And that is your reality. That's your identity. That's the foundation of my life. Then one day there's an earthquake and it knocks over the pantry and everything falls out onto the floor. At first, it's like, this is horrible. This is terrible. My identity's broken. Everything's ruined. So that's the breakdown. And in that breakdown, you feel fear, anxiety. You're going to go through a whole host of emotions.
Right.
And you're going to really have to go within and internally reflect. And it's chaos. But then within that chaos
comes order.
Comes new realizations. It's like the phoenix.
Rising. Yes.
And then you put everything back into the pantry, but you only put things that you want and that you need and that you love. The things that no longer serve you or the things that are not in alignment with who you are now or where you want to go, you get rid of it.
You don't need them.
You clean house.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, you have an entire new pantry.
Right.
And a pantry that you love, that's useful for where you're at this stage in your life.
You know what I just realized? The whole world just went through a catharsis.
Oh, hell yeah.
COVID.
We're still going through it.
COVID was a huge catharsis for the world. One day we were just all doing what we do, and then something happened and we were in a totally different reality.
Right. And how many people before that was like, I don't have time to spend with my kids and my family at home. I'm always at work and this and that.
I want to stay home. I don't want to go to work no more.
Now that catharsis is like, there you go. You broke it down and now you're home.
Yep.
Or how many people came up financially and started businesses and did well. So what started off as a breakdown that you might have thought was bad ended up being something beautiful.
Yes. So a catharsis, you guys, is not a bad thing. When you're in it, it feels bad. It goes. But on the other side, it can be really good.
Right. And that's that, like we always say, your success is in your mess.
Yes.
That thing that you think is a mess and it's so horrible, it ends up being a blessing in the long run.
Your homework is to think about times in your life where things seem like they were breaking down and you got scared or you got upset, but then on the other side of it, things worked out and you grew and you're actually glad that you went through what you went through.
Right. And if you're currently going through a catharsis, the key is to face your fears. The key is to submit and let go.
Yes.
Let go. The way to control is by letting go of control. The way to power is by letting go of power.
Yes. On that note, you know what time it is, don't you?
What time is it, baby?
It's time to go. Good job, you guys. I hope you love this. I hope you recognize that catharsis show up for your greater good. We love you. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for being part of our love revolution. Keep loving yourself so that you can love others. And we'll see you next week.
There you go. We gave it to you. Now what you gonna do with it? The Amazing Clarks podcast is executive produced by Cody and Tommy Oliver.
And produced by Crystal Hill and edited by Masu McLemore.